The story of Entry Point is a shadow war between two sides, Halcyon and Phoenix. Since most of the story is still unreleased, we don't know how it will end. However, we can use clues, evidence, and logic to narrow down the possible outcomes and predict how the story might end. There are two possible outcomes, a Halcyon victory and a Phoenix victory. The most decisive character in the story is the protagonist. The protagonist participates in 9 different missions throughout the story. Since Entry Point itself is a game, players may win or fail each time they play a mission. However, in the story, all missions are counted as victories. This means the protagonist succeeds in all 9 missions. Since the missions make up the bulk of the story, it's safe to assume the protagonist and their allies will win the war. However, this raises another question. Who will the protagonist fight for? The most obvious scenario is that they will continue fighting for Halcyon. If this is the case, then Halcyon will defeat Phoenix and win by the end of the story. Given that the protagonist is already in Halcyon, this is the most likely scenario. Another possibility is that the protagonist will betray Halcyon and side with Phoenix. If so, Phoenix will win the war against Halcyon. Since the protagonist seems to care more about payments than loyalty, they may join Phoenix should it present a greater financial opportunity. However, there's no evidence the protagonist will betray Halcyon. Given the protagonist's actions so far, rescuing Rose, attacking Ryan Ross, and stealing the Phoenix box, they have caused enough damage to Phoenix that Phoenix may discard the possibility of hiring them. Thus, a Phoenix victory is unlikely, though it's certainly a possibility. Although this theory so far answers the question of who will win, it doesn't answer how and why they will win. Several factors could tip the scales to one side's advantage. First, as we've already established, is the protagonist. We know they will be on the winning side, but that side won't necessarily win because of them. After all, there's only one person who does as they're told. The second factor that comes to mind is the research from Dawn Valley. This research is secretive, and we don't know much about it, but it must be important, as both Halcyon and Phoenix are interested in it. The research is presumably in Phoenix's hands, but Halcyon may steal it in a later mission. A future mission called The Scientist is likely related to this research. Another factor are non-playable missions. Although the protagonist's 9 missions in the story are known to be victories, Halcyon and Phoenix conduct many more missions, which may or may not succeed. Such missions may be shown or mentioned in cutscenes, but we as players won't be able to play them. The success of these missions may determine the outcome of the story. The Black Dusk is the last mission in the story, and it will likely be the final confrontation between Halcyon and Phoenix. Since the name is a reference to the Black Dawn, it may be related to Dawn Valley research. Halcyon was behind the Black Dawn, so they may also conduct the Black Dusk. If so, this further suggests that Halcyon will win the war. After the Black Dusk is the epilogue, the final piece of the story. The epilogue will likely show the aftermath of the Black Dusk and its effect on the characters, especially the protagonist. According to Cishshato, the developer of Entry Point, the Black Dusk and the epilogue will be the last parts of the game released. Between now and then, several missions, cutscenes, and files will be released, which may give us a deeper insight into the ending. A few weeks after this video's upload, the SCRS is set to be released. Until then, we can only theorize.